Hey guys, what is going on? So just a few updates that I wanted to tell you guys about. First is the restocking of the powder, the Ecdysterone powder of the Muscle Empire brand on HR supplements. So I know that a lot of people want to get the capsules, and that's probably what I would recommend personally. But the powder is going for $35 on HR supplements right now. It's in stock on Amazon. It is $40, and you get the discount if you buy in bulk. So if you really just can't wait for the 180 caps, which I understand, I'm a pretty impatient person as well, that's going to be available. I do have a link in the description for that. Otherwise, it also is on Amazon, but again, it is more expensive. So there's that. I have just hit a pretty massive PR, which I'll talk about in a second. I've also learned a little bit more about how Ecdysterone works and what it's doing for people and how you could potentially use that to your advantage if you are on it and how that can impact your training. And then finally, the Review Bros just posted a review video, which was, positive on Ecdysterone. And, they have a channel where they go over pre-workout. So if you're a stim junkie or you just want to go over and watch that video, I recommend their channel. They are pretty cool. So yeah, that's cool to see in terms of the PR that I just hit. The highest that I've ever done. So recently I've been doing pin presses. So I keep the pins right, on my chest. I literally can't even get an arch. So I can't really get leg drive or an arch or anything like that because I really struggle off the chest. It's something I've talked about quite a bit. I have pretty strong triceps, even if they're not aesthetically, all that big or anything. My triceps kind of power me through my bench press for the most part. Off the chest is where I struggle. So the highest pin press that I've ever done with just having, the bar right, it's literally even probably lower than it would be if I were to get an arch. I'll do it from there, dead stop. The highest I've ever done is 320, and I just did 340 today, which is crazy because I'm in quite a large deficit here today. I haven't really eaten all that much food. I did just eat, but I usually eat a lot of my food towards the end of the day. So you'd think my energy would be low. I'm surprised I just hit it. And that's a pretty massive PR, especially considering it is a weak point for me, my chest, off the chest. So that's really crazy. So it seems like my strength is going up. But I am going to refrain from doing any like super heavy, like max outs or like low rep things quite yet, because I was informed about the cardiovascular benefits of Ecdysterone, kind of how that's one of the main, mechanisms of action for Ecdysterone. That's something that I was talking about in the previous video in terms of the increased vascularity and the increased endurance. And apparently that is how it's really kind of measuring that strength increase when it comes to the studies. And honestly, I never really looked at Ecdysterone in particular. I just kind of took Derek's word on it. I watched that video. But in terms of Ecdysterone, I just kind of consider it to be a little bit less effective option relative to testosterone, maybe more cost effective. And I figured, hey, I'd just try it out. But it seems like considering my higher dosage of Ecdysterone relative to what my testosterone dosage was, it seems like I'm getting a lot of those benefits, namely the vascularity. And I talked about the endurance as well. So I'm going to shift my training. I actually have a shoulders and chest workout that I'm going to go do in about an hour or two. And as opposed to doing kind of lower reps, as I've kind of been ramping up my weights doing that and focusing more on like speed work and stuff, trying to get my strength up, I'm actually going to be trying to do more sets of like, heavier exercises, but trying to work in that kind of higher rep range. So maybe like 8 to 12 reps, maybe even more, because that's really where I see a lot of the endurance benefits, and even above like, 12 reps and stuff like that. So I'm going to be trying that for a couple weeks, see if I can't hit some rep PRs. And that is exactly how I was able to kind of ramp up my strength when I was on testosterone before, because I was really focused on muscle gain. If you guys remember, I didn't even care about strength when I was on testosterone before. So I kind of naturally worked in that higher rep range. And maybe that is one reason why I gained so much muscle and strength on testosterone, even though the strength was kind of a byproduct. I wasn't even focusing on that. So I'm going to go back to that. I still do want to eventually ramp up and try and hit some PRs. Hopefully I don't get any injuries this time around. But this has me really excited. Hitting that 340, dead stop pin press makes me think that I can probably hit a PR right now. And if I kind of work in that rep range, that's going to allow me to optimally build a little bit more muscle and strength potentially on Ecdysterone. I think I can even push that to higher than it's currently at. And I think I am still regaining some of my strength that I lost on testosterone, because it only has been, what, like 5-6 weeks or something like that. So very excited about that, and I just wanted to update on that. So anyway, that's all I gotta say about that. I'll keep you updated, and I'll talk to you soon.